China market presence. I'm talking a bit about search engines, mainly because it's one of the best tools in order to get in contact with those people who are interested in whatever you want to offer. So if you have a watch that you want to sell, and you have people searching for a specific type of watch, for example, it's like search engines are bringing demand and offer together. That's the nice thing. Classical marketing is more about you have like an advertising, and the advertising shall detract you from reading whatever article you wanted to read, and it wants you to read a certain message that you want to bring over. With search engines, it's different because you have a one-to-one connection with those people already saying, I'm interested in what you have to offer. Now, there are some things that are just different. Easy said, it's in a Google world, as we know, the higher you are in search engines, the better. Because we are used to the number one is the best, so to speak, on a search engine like Google. On Baidu, it's totally different. It's not that most clicks and most views are on top. Why is that? It's like, this is the Baidu example, this is the Google example, both from within China, but in Google, it's really the best that is in the top position. On Baidu, you can buy to be in the top position, so to speak. So oftentimes on Baidu, the first page is full of things that belong to Baidu itself. So you don't get to those top 10, so to speak. And people realize it's not always the best result that is number one. It might be something more below. So they have to look at more results, which you can see on this example. As mentioned, Baidu has the largest share of search engines, and one thing that is specific about Baidu is while in Google, for example, you realize what is advertising and what is organic search. On Baidu, you don't see it if you don't know very exactly on what to look at. It's like mixing between advertising and organic. So you have to consider that if you want to do there something. What are some main differences? Google is more or less not present in China because they thought they were harder than the Chinese government, and the Chinese government at the end won, let's put it like that. If you want to advertise on Google, just do it. Within 5 minutes, you have a new account and you can start, so to speak. In China, it often takes 3 or more weeks of paperwork and whatsoever in order for you to be allowed to advertise. So it's a different approach. On Google, there's little censorship. On Baidu, it can be, for some terms, it's like censored. You can't advertise or do something. Those are the main differences that you have to consider if you want to use those. And then one thing that you would also not see on Google, this is an example of a company doing no advertising on Baidu, and how many pages the organic Baidu was crawling, how many of their pages have been looked at. And at the day they started with the advertising, not only the advertising was there, but Baidu was suddenly interested also in the organic pages, on the pages that are there. It's like Google is more divided into what is advertising and what is the organic content. on Baidu, it's more mixed with each other, let's put it like that. Search behavior. You really have to think like your clients do. It's just an example of a client of ours. It was a German company. They did some advertising and they invested, I think, 100,000 euros for advertising on a search engine, and they had no controlling. We implemented the controlling and found out 80% of what they were investing was for people coming to the website and leaving it immediately again. So it's like, it was nice, but with about 14%, they made 80% of the turnover, basically. And I mean, all of you know the Pareto system. It's the 80-20 rule. It applies to that also. Before you optimize a website, for example, you have to know what are the 20% of the words that attract 80% of your customers. And oftentimes it's not the internal language, it's something you have to find out first. It's not just lying there on the street. This is an example, it's a Korean example, but for me it's always a good example on showing why you have to look at those things. In Korea, for example, it's DC motor. They enter DC in our syllables, D and the C, and motor in Korean. Why am I telling that? If you give something to a translation office, they will never get the idea to translate something with Chinese letters combined with European letters, so to speak. But if you see that your customers are using such kind of combinations, then it doesn't matter whether it looks nice or whatsoever, it's just what the customer is using. We did something for Cisco. They had a large, or they still have, a large search engine department in the US, and they tried everything to get into the Chinese market. But with their Western thinking, they just didn't get to a point. And the Chinese, our Chinese office, what they did was changed some things, changed some words, and with the same spending, at the end they had 46% more A leads. It was about attracting business customers, and 37% more B and C leads, just by applying the Chinese thinking to a Chinese website instead of trying to bring over a message to Western thinking. Some things just go better if you have somebody there in China. So if you are entering China, it's important that you are also found on search engines like Baidu. Why? Because Chinese like to share with each other. And they want to find out what you are about. And if they find from day one on that you are a serious company or whatsoever, then they will share what your message is on the website they find through Baidu, for example, with their peers. And word of mouth is very important within China. Some words about video. YouTube is not used, more or less, in China. We had a case of a tourism organization was in that case. They uploaded all of their videos to YouTube, even translated into Chinese, but within China nobody could see it because they don't use YouTube. The fact was, when Chinese were looking for their videos, the only thing they found was some shaky videos from some tourists that have been there, that uploaded it there, and they were not even aware because they just thought, well, we uploaded it to YouTube. If you have good videos, upload it to the local Chinese platforms so that you are found. Social media, I don't want to go too much in details, but you have like an overview map in the handout that you have. There are a lot of different medias present there. Just two that I would like to mention, Weibo and WeChat. WeChat is like WhatsApp that you know, but you have to think like a WhatsApp that is promoted by the government and all companies, so to speak. So there's a lot of public pressure. For example, the Chinese government emphasizes that its agencies should be active on WeChat to talk with the public, so to speak. So it's with 600 million people, it's used for a lot of things, and it can be used to get like a personal relationship with your customers. It can stimulate word of mouth, which is very important in China, that people are talking about you. But that brings me to the first part that I talked about, competitor analysis. Before you start, check out what existing WeChat conversations are there for your industry, for example. Who is talking about your business? And then you can like add to the existing conversation that is already going on of people interested in your products. So it's not just personalized chatting, it's about exchange with news and media, celebrities, industrial brands, and so on and so forth. It's just to give you some hints on what is different there. Weibo, it's like an example from Nescafé, has 1.2 million fans. So it's using it to promote its business there and be present in the market. Some words about e-commerce. Alibaba is the biggest e-commerce platform for B2B and for B2C. So a lot of turnover is going on in China through Alibaba. So as I mentioned, on the last November, on the 11th of 11th, it's Singles Day in China, that has been introduced basically for students. It was introduced by students, for students, saying all who are single, we do something together, so to speak. And nowadays, it's the biggest shopping day within China with $9 billion turnover only on Alibaba on one day. So depending on what kind of brand you have, it's a huge, I mean, I think there was one phone company who sold, I think, 2 million of their phones in one day or something like that. I think they had the first million of their phones sold within 2 or 3 hours. So it's numbers that we can't think of if we compare it with things that we know of. The product sold there is like shopping malls that we know too. The main payment system that they use is Alipay, that you heard of, some things mentioned about it. It has 100 million daily transactions. It's a very stable platform, and I mean, let's put it like that. If in one day you can handle $9 billion US dollars turnover, that is split in millions of transactions, that tells you that, I mean, they do a good job there. I want to show you a small video, just telling on how Alipay is used, so that if you are going to China, that you might have an eye and see what it might look there.
In China, there's a mobile commerce revolution taking place. Millions of people use their smartphones to make payments on everything. Alipay Wallet is China's most popular mobile payment app, and by some measures, the most used mobile payment app in the world. But what exactly is the Alipay wallet app and how does it work? I'm Melanie Lee with AliZilla. I'm in Hangzhou, China, where I'll test the Alipay wallet app. I've left my real wallet at home, and to get around today, all I have is my smartphone. Let's go. I'm going to meet a girlfriend for lunch, so I'm going to use a nifty taxi hailing app that's integrated with Alipay wallet. We're here already, so I'm gonna pay him using my Alipay wallet app. The Alipay wallet app is integrated with the taxi app, making it very convenient. We're done. My friend Teresa here is a typical Alipay wallet user. Teresa, why don't you tell us a bit about what you use Alipay wallet for?
I use it for everything in my life. I use it to pay for utility bills and credit card payments. I top up my mobile and I book my online travel tickets. And I even invest my money with it. It's really convenient.
So lunch is done and I'm going to pay for the meal using Alipay wallet.
Thanks. Shall we split the lunch bill?
Sure, your share will be 60 yuan.
Let's use the Alipay wallet Go Dodge function.
Okay.
It's especially useful when you're eating with a bunch of people.
Wow, that's really cool. After lunch, of course it's time for some shopping. Alipay recently teamed up with in-time department stores in East China to allow for Alipay wallet to be accepted as a payment method. This means I can pretty much buy anything in this store without cash or credit card. All I need is my phone. The cool thing about this app is that you can pay using soundwave technology. It's fast, secure, and you don't even need to be connected to the internet to pay. It's pretty hard to believe, but thousands of vending machines in China accept Alipay wallet. This means with your Alipay wallet app and your smartphone, you'll never go thirsty. It's been 12 hours since I last touched my real wallet, and frankly, it's been a very positive experience. I can see why millions of people across China have taken to m-commerce, meaning that soon, big wallets like mine are gonna be a thing of the past.
It's just an example on how some things, what we are talking about, are different than what we are used to, so to speak. A few words on remarketing. You might know all of those who have ever been to Zalando or a website like that know remarketing because the shoe that you have looked at is following you through wherever you are. That's what we're used to in Europe. In China, it's even possible because China Telecom is basically knowing from everybody within China who is visiting what website. So basically what I can do is I can say, let's use a watch example. All that have visited let's say a Rolex website and they have been on the Swiss embassy to enroll for a visa, for example. I want to target them because I want to bring them in my shop in Zurich, Bahnhofstrasse, as an example. Why is that possible? Because there it's possible to target people based on their behavior on visiting a certain web page because China Telecom knows who is visiting what web page. We wouldn't be allowed to do that because our laws are different, but I mean those doing it have a competitive advantage if you compare it with others who are not doing it, because I mean you can go there and say if somebody is sending a contact us page to one of your competitors, I want to target them, and from that moment on I advertise for those people, as an example. It's like things that if you just look at what is possible in Europe, we wouldn't even think of. So what are the basic or 10 advices I can give you today? I mean, know your USP, not your UPS, your USP in the China market. It might be very different from what you have in Europe. Work with Chinese representatives. Then stand out when being searched. Make sure that you are found if people are searching for you, and you bring over basically your basic message that you want to bring over. we reach vast target groups through like kind of remarketing that I mentioned before, that you can advertise, for example, for people searching for your brand or for competitors' brand, or chatting about your brand or a competitor's brand, or whatever. Sky is the limit, what you can do there. Alipay, if you are in, let's say, more household things and things like is just a good tool to give people trust. We're even talking with companies now in Zurich's Bahnhofstrasse to use it mainly as a means of showing to Chinese tourists I'm Chinese friendly, so to speak. Because Alipay, the main thing that Alipay does is they make sure that if you order something online, you are sure that you really get it. So it's a huge trust factor that Chinese have towards Alipay, because they know if I order something and pay it through Alipay, if I'm not satisfied, I can get my money back. So whenever you use like the Alipay logo, it's like you're safe with me. And those are kind of things that Chinese like to see. Use Tmall, Amazon, the large malls that are available to sell within China. There is even a Tmall international version that companies can use that don't have an office within China. It helps for some things to have less bureaucracy in order to get things into China, so to speak. Be social. Think about the firewall within China, and make sure you have a Chinese partner or mentor. If I'm lucky, because it's already late there, I would be able to chat through Skype with John Wei, who is doing online marketing for 18 years now in China. So depending on what questions you now have, I can ask him or I can tell you directly. So my main aim was in just giving you some impressions on what you have to think of if you want to do business or attract clients within China. So feel free to ask whatever you want to ask about this subject. Thank you very much.